Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Herbet Unfiltered. I'm Pravin, and today with me I have Amir and Farra. And today we're going to talk about the dead internet theory. So, dead internet theory. Farra, would you care to elaborate a bit more on what this means?
Okay, so this is something I came across on Twitter. But apparently after doing some research, it apparently started back way in 2016 and 2017, around that time. So someone posted on a forum somewhere in the deep parts of the internet and he posted this theory claiming that the internet is already dead by that point, which is 9 years ago. And this theory wasn't something big back then, but it was picked up by this popular news article. By this very popular news outlet, and basically they said that the internet has been dead for 5 years, and basically breaking down what the theory was basically, and then it was what's there, and then so. This theory, just as how it sounds, it basically says that the internet has been dead and that currently the internet has been displaced by bots. So in this theory, it consists of two claims. So the first one is that organic human activity on the web has been displaced by bots and algorithmically curated search results. So basically saying that whatever is on the internet now is filled with bots and AI, and that we are no longer reading, or whatever's on the internet, the content is not made by humans. And basically that everything that we search online on Google search engines, basically is already curated to fit a certain kind of purpose. So that was the first claim. And the second claim is that governments and big corporations are intentionally limiting users to curated and potentially artificial AI-generated content, which, I guess potentially not anymore because now we know that everything's AI-generated, to manipulate the human population for a variety of reasons. So basically saying that these big corporations are now trying to spread propaganda with AI content and basically manipulating public opinion.
It's like during election time,
Yes.
Oh.
So that is basically summing up what this whole theory is about. And so back then in 2016, it might sound a bit unbelievable, but now with like ChatGPT being a thing, and then you have Gemini on Google, especially as you search online on Google, right, and then you immediately get answers by an AI bot, by AI generated results, it's not so far-fetched, and maybe there is some truth to this theory. So I guess that's what we are supposed to talk about today.
Understand.
So maybe moving on to like an example so just for us to familiarize with the topic. So as a ex-user, you come across a lot of like very popular tweets, and immediately if you check the replies, every single top reply will always be by a bot. I don't know if you guys experience that, but
rimas gila. Like I just want to know what's going on. Tapi semua ad or like someone is rage baiting, and then kita pun marah.
And it's always like a certain account, and you can kind of already tell on X that they are bots because you have like a blue tick, and then the replies are normally like kind of the same thing. The answers that they have are the same thing, and then you have to kind of like sort through those and then try to find an actual authentic reply from another Twitter user, which is it's very frustrating to experience. You want to know what people think about and not like kind of be bombarded by replies that don't have any, macam kadang-kadang tak ada kaitan pun. It's not related at all to the topic.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess with like how AI has like evolved, we're kind of seeing more and more content like this that are much more believable, maybe to people who aren't so familiar with like online interactions and contents, right?
But yeah, okay. So I think circling back to some of the stuff you were saying earlier. So just to like kind of summarize it a bit, you've been saying that, or what you have read that claimed was the internet has been dead for 9 years, meaning that most of the information that people are consuming now are not made by humans. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Because they are AI generated and stuff like that.
Well, most maybe like 80% by now.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. With the rise of ChatGPT and all of these things, everybody is now an AI expert, right? But truly, I think following back to one of your explanations about how comments on X is kind of fabricated these days, and it's very easily noticed, you know. By noticed, I mean, if you go to a certain post and you see the top comments, you may look at similar posts by that person, and the top comments would be done by the exact same account. Or it would be phrasing, like you said, it would phrase things very similarly on every account. So it almost looks like spam.
Yeah.
Right? But I guess this is detrimental to consumers, essentially. And if you're pulling this into like a retail space, right?
Yeah.
And you have a product that you're selling, but now you have bots that are writing you reviews. And bots are saying that great service, great work, and all of these things. And generally speaking, when you are buying stuff online, if you're buying a service or a product, the first thing you would want to do is check the reviews, right? But this system is kind of broken now because the reviews are being fabricated. So you're just creating a whole cycle of bad business for consumers. And they may not know it. You may not trying to promote bad business, but what you're trying to do as a business owner is you're trying to engage, like you're trying to increase your engagement, right? With all these new performance metrics. Everybody is like, how much views, or maybe not views, maybe it's like how many comments, how many saves. And the thing about it is that now bots can do these things. So it's just a matter of how much you're paying a bot to help you out with your engagement. But I feel it's scary. It's scary being a consumer and knowing that like a lot of the stuff you're going to read and assume that is correct is going to be false.
Yeah.
And like, how do you think someone can filter through these comments to find what is a human comment and what is an AI comment?
I guess it has been going on for years already. Meaning like fake reviews, right? People planting fake reviews. But it's just now that it's increasing more and more with like,
the
people,
accessibility of fake reviews now are getting so much easier to access.
Yeah.
You know, it's like before you probably have to commission someone to write you a fake review.
Exactly.
But now that person is no longer a person. It's a AI, you know, that can act as any person you want them to be. So it's like...
And with like image generation also being a thing, they can immediately just like, make a picture based on that product and just put it there.
Truly.
I don't know.
I feel like the dead internet theory ties back to audiences as a whole. What does this mean? Does this mean that now people would think that everything on the internet is fake?
I mean like, apa? Okay, since 10 years ago when this was brought up, people macam tak percaya kan. But now macam, oh shit, actually, this is plausible.
Yeah.
And I think it's being reflected in the way we've been using how people have been interacting with content in the first place. Like nowadays, I think people sometimes they just watch and like, and then maybe they like the content, but they don't really comment or anything because what's the point? I don't want to participate in this like system.
Yeah.
And you can say that now it's still safe, but maybe in 3 years, who knows?
Exactly. And I feel like that's actually, if you think about it in terms of the future, right? If people are going to start detaching themselves from the internet and being a part of that community that's giving feedback and giving their reviews and giving honest opinions because they believe that everything is fabricated already, so I don't need to be a part of this system, we're going to essentially erode the human connection on the internet.
Yeah.
Because then everybody is just seeking for the information they need. They're not looking for any sort of... There's like, how do you seek validation? You know, like how do you seek any form of like, this is a good product unless you try it. You can't believe anything anymore.
Yeah.
You know?
Even like before the internet thing pun, like I think I still find that problem to be I think we still had that problem before this whole AI thing took place. Was about people have been faking content anyway, right?
Yeah.
Since I guess since the beginning of time. So like you already cannot trust reviews without this AI and the internet. This is like now that it's more prevalent and unstoppable, I guess. Like dulu paling pun maybe your mom showed you that, ingat tak? See, this is what happens when you don't listen to your parents and you get turned into a goat. You know what I'm talking about, that picture kan. And
it's okay, no one turned into a goat.
Yeah, no one turned into a goat. So now macam the kids today, like with AI lagi lah macam, you got like, you turn into a stingray, you turn into a shark.
So then falling back to this, right? Being that how the internet is so accessible and is so open right now, I think just like the analogy of someone getting their license, right? How do you drive properly? How do you use the internet properly? How do you consume the internet properly? And I believe it ties back to digital literacy, right?
Yeah.
So if we are talking about digital literacy, now with AI, this becomes ever more crucial. Because like you said, we have things like deepfakes. We have so many different softwares that can create and generate things that don't even exist. So for someone that can't read between the lines of what is real and what isn't, this is kind of scary for them, you know?
For old people.
I mean, be it
for us
old
too,
or even children, you know? Like, I think because children are at the point in their lives where they are learning so much, and if we are fabricating so much info, they're going to learn a lot of fabricated info, which may not be real.
Yeah, and grow up to think that it's real.
Exactly.
It's almost as if someone is trying to control the global narrative or something, right?
I think it can be. It can be viewed as that, I would assume. But I think personally what it's turned into is that there's probably been like a lack of governance over how AI is being used. And I think AI is a really good tool for any sort of business, even for personal use. I think AI can help you out in so many different ways, but I think the use of it, of trying to exponentially increase your business, is where it can start to turn detrimental as a tool, you know, AI. And truly, I feel like dead internet theory being something that you can't really reverse. Like you said, it's been going on for the past decade.
Yeah,
at
it's
least.
just like global warming.
Yeah. So I think like it's not something that is like, oh, it's a myth, you know, people are just talking about it. It's not real.
Yeah.
It's actually real. And I think the societal effects of it is going to get even worse, you know, without proper governance over the AI use and stuff like that. But bringing it back to sort of a business standpoint, and because of how we've talked that dead internet theory means that a lot of the stuff now are not real, not accurate. So what do you think are some of the ways that maybe businesses could try and overcome this? Because I feel like the internet is something that will not die, and it just has to be used properly. So like, what would be ways that you can think that businesses could try and work around the ideas that, hey, there are fake info on the internet, but we are not giving you fake info? And I feel like maybe one thing was to be more authentic in the way you present your information, and to incorporate more of your, it could be your struggles, it could be your limitations, it could be so many different things, but actually just having that sort of authentic kind of connection with your audience, I think can kind of break the effects of knowing that, hey, this seems like it's AI generated, or this doesn't seem like them actually trying to talk to us, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, what's your definition of authenticity? Macam, okay, like visually, I think currently you can tell, like sometimes the video looks like weird, or like they're missing a finger or something, and be like, say that technology perfects itself, I think we should be able to reach like a singularity in 6 years. I just saw that yesterday. But like, meaning to say that the AI will start to be perfect and it will start to train itself. So when that happens, how do you think, what is human?
True. Like so you're saying that AI turning sentient, where it
no,
can start making decisions of its own.
Is this like,
It's more like
it's going to be so
you
realistic.
can't tell anymore.
So how do you know when this is you're being lied to or it's authentic? So contoh maybe is in terms of it's a review. Maybe an AI review will just macam I like this, it's so good. It's like similar to a paid review. So like how would an authentic review look like? Macam nowadays even like people are starting to this is why this brand sucks. Tapi actually when you watch the video it's good things.
So I guess like that is probably a trend for clickbait. So for them to tell you that why you shouldn't buy something, a negative connotation always strikes more engagement. Everybody wants to see something negative, sadly.
Yeah, that's something a human can think of. Like, I mean, a human would get it.
Yeah.
But do you think AI will one day reach that point? I feel like it would.
Honestly speaking, I think it just depends on the bounds. And maybe, I mean, I don't know enough about how people are trying to govern AI. But I think at this point in time, AI has got so much use. And I think generative AI is just one part of it. There's so many aspects of AI, and machine learning is an AI. Machine learning is huge now, which can help so many businesses. So I think it's just about how to utilize these tools, right? And I believe like in the form of corporations, right? What they've started doing now is they've sort of made it a point where people have to kind of tag their media that has been AI generated. So even if you look on Instagram now, I think, or even other platforms, there will be a sort of like an advanced setting where you can actually insert like this is an AI or this was made with AI or something like that.
Yeah, they have that on TikTok too.
Exactly. So I believe like if that feature becomes more prominent on these social platforms, then the content itself can be classified into whether it's AI or not. But of course, it's if it's based on the discretion of the person, then it's up to them whether they want to disclose it's AI or not. But that feature is there. I think it's whether people are using it or not. Bring it back though. I feel like here we're talking about comments. We're talking about bots. We're not really talking about AI generated content. So in terms of bots are feeding the engagement, like comments and stuff like this, where it feeds people the different kind of narrative. Like you see it a lot in politics, right? Like if a president or prime minister or someone suddenly posts a photo, this conference went perfect, and now you're going to have a few comments down there and be like, oh, this is the best prime minister, or this is the best president ever, and like, oh, he's doing the best things and stuff like that. It's generic, but it's still there. And I think that is the bots that we are talking about. And it's feeding the wrong sentiments to people.
It's also because those bots also are involved in like engagement, like pushing those contents into the algorithm so that the algorithm knows, oh, a lot of people like this. So I'm going to show this to more people.
Exactly.
So yeah, definitely the way also I think is an issue with algorithms being like the in thing now. Like everybody is trying to shift from, just organically things popping up on your feeds or on the internet, like kind of in general, like search engines even. Now it's just curated to you based on the information that they get from you, from listening to you through devices, and from your activity on the internet, all those things, which makes it like a whole, like from a like emotional human perspective, it's like you're being judged at every single second of you being on the internet. And then I don't know, macam it didn't used to be that way, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't think I lived that long enough, but like
exactly.
Back then, it used to be that you would see the same things that your friends would see. I think Amir was talking about this. Like
I did.
Like just so like I think back in the day, because it followed chronology. It wasn't algorithms.
Everything went to shit since algorithms were a thing.
I personally feel like algorithms have changed a lot of how people are consuming the social media platforms right now. So, and it's honestly kind of sad, like with them curating content for you, it's hard for you to learn things outside of what you think you like. But I think the whole idea of the internet was for people to try and learn new things.
New things, yeah.
Right?
So it's doing the thing that, it initially had a purpose, and now we're just backtracking.
Exactly.
And like, imagine, like, if this whole thing just like blows up one day, then like what you said about you are being pushed a certain type of idea or like principle to a certain niche, right? And then meaning that people one day maybe there would be like groups of people understanding different things in different ways, and you can't convince them otherwise because they keep being pushed with a certain idea
Exactly.
or ideology. And I mean that has always been the thing for many years, I believe, but just with the internet and like bringing back what you said about media literacy, not everyone is educated enough or has the same like kind of mindset whenever they roam the internet. So it's so dangerous, and it's living in that kind of world where you kind of like think of other people badly because you don't think the same way is
judgmental.
yes.
Yeah.
And we're becoming more and more judgmental in everything.
Yeah. Because
Even to like the smallest thing, because like people tend to blow things into, like small things that don't matter now matter.
they get exploded into.
Yeah.
But like, how do we, okay, let's talk about ethics, right? And now this is a case study. The responsibility to regulate these things falls onto who? Because initially internet was supposed to be like a free-for-all thing, and even today it's being promoted like that, but no one can own the internet, right? So, but the only ones who seem to be doing the regulations are these corporations who rely on people to use the platform. So, but like, what's the incentive to do that? Sebab
regulate?
To regulate the platforms.
Honestly, regulating will mean safety and assurance to your users. But I get that algorithms, honestly speaking, algorithms are not bad. If they're used correctly, they're not bad. They're actually meant to give people what they think they want, right? But I think now with the curation of everything to follow your algorithm, that's when it starts augmenting what you're seeing and stuff like that, right? So back to like your question, like I think people have to kind of, or businesses also have to kind of like understand that they need to be transparent with their audiences. They need to just say what is happening, like being real kind of thing. Like sometimes being real, and I think you brought it up the other day about how like Papa John's are using people and stuff like that. The real, authentic human relation to your audience, I think will set you apart in this whole dead internet theory kind of thing.
So yeah, I think.
Tak percaya like, okay, now they have to do it, but I feel like once they have the technology to be realistic while using the fake content, the ethics too is not gonna, because they're business, right?
I think business and ethics is a very
which will leave us to the social media. Okay, so the social media has incentive to enforce the regulation because I want my users to feel safe.
Yeah.
Actually, yelah.
I mean,
That
that's where
actually
it would be.
Yeah.
And like I feel like the flip side of it would be people who are trying to abuse that sort of system, and like now how people are just say I'm going to regulate my content. So that means there's a void in the market for content that is fake. So now people can make fake content and hopefully tap into that audience that now has a void because you're not making that content anymore. You get what I mean?
Faham.
It's like in business, I guess, like
because people who want to make fake content pun
will still do it.
They will still do it, but they cannot just post like macam dulu you have blogs.
Yeah.
A lot of these independent sources where you can do whatever you want and then be terrorist. And but like now macam, actually if I want the best reach, I should post on this platform. There's regulation on it, so I cannot. So macam at least there's that kind of barrier.
Exactly.
But like that also implies that we are no longer that free. Our power on the internet is no longer as an individual lah, tak ada. Okay, it can be a separate topic.
I guess
I guess my point is the internet is not going to be this free platform. Yeah, if you want to participate in it, you still have to meddle around with this. Oh, AI ke? Oh, this and then that sucks, you know.
You have to tread carefully lah.
You have to tread carefully. Yeah.
I think at the end of the day, it depends on. It all falls back to every individual and how they interact with it and
literacy.
Yeah, literacy.
I think at the end of the day, it's literacy,
Yeah,
right?
education.
Yeah,
Exactly.
something for the
Stay in
education.
school.
Stay in school.
Now we're okay, let's finish it.
Let's conclude it.
Yeah. So, do you think the internet will actually be dead? Like,
So already that, like even the way back when archive pun, they like people are noticing that then they're not really. I guess no one's paying to host it or whatever lah. But like,
But I feel like that should be like a crowdsource thing, you know, like this information.
are you guys paying for Wikipedia?
The way back when.
Are you guys paying for Wikipedia?
No.
Exactly.
But I get it. Okay, that's true. Like Wikipedia is also known to be fabricated. It's not legit.
Yep.
You know, so like the stuff that you read on Wikipedia, anybody can edit.
yeah.
It's not just like there is a separate person there who's a copywriter editing everything now. You can edit it yourself. Like just say you go to Malaysia and you type like, oh, Malaysia is actually a branch of another country. Bro, I'm pretty sure someone could change it if they wanted to. But back to the idea of this, and I feel like the governance of this needs to have like a separate body that everybody is protected by. You know, so like in this case, social platforms need to enforce their content moderators to see whether this thing is fake or this thing is real.
And I don't think they should replace them with actual bots.
Exactly.
Because, you know, it's just like bots against bots. It's a bit weird.
It's fine as long as you have boundaries for your bots. Yeah, and I feel like it's all in the parameters you set for it, you know. Well, that brings us to the end of the episode. Thank you for listening to us ramble about how the internet is dead and our ways on trying to revive it.